marketing notes that you get. I'm sure you don't want to enter your marketing career by just learning the notes. Don't you want to listen to the best of the minds who are in this field? Don't you want to learn what is contemporary in the marketing field? Then here are the people. We have specially invited these panelists to talk about what is the latest trend in marketing. And I'm sure if you are serious about your careers, you will pay attention to what our panelists are speaking. Because by the time you're going to enter 5 years down the line, these are the things that you should be very well versed with. And I think you are going to introspect and not create that buzz there. I know that is okay for a classroom.
Now let me tell you why green marketing is not working. Since we have been, listening since morning what is green marketing and why corporates are using, why it is not working. Because what happens, we all are consumer. And we generally take everything, as per our priority, as per our convenience. So this is what is happening. See the trend, see the shift. In the morning, all the seats were filled up in the front. Then we keep on seeing that people started shifting because this is a technical subject. But yes, being into marketing, you have to learn to the technical things also. Anyways, very good afternoon once again. I am Ritesh Mathur. I am here representing Signature Global. We are a real estate organization, and I would also like to mention here that real estate is the industry which creates 20% of energy consumption in any country. Before going to the green marketing thing, I'll probably introduce you about the company, a basic brief, and I won't take too much of time. Signature Global is the real estate organization of SMC. You can say the co-promoters of SMC are the promoters of Signature Global, so it is a major stakeholder in SMC Group, which is India's largest real trading and broking company. With the tagline of realty, reliability and responsibility, we actually mean it that we are, since in the business of realty, we need to grow with the perfect sense of reliability and responsibility in the mix so that the consumers actually feel it. Now I'll come to actually the green marketing is basically an ecological approach. What you are giving to the society, what you're taking from the society, all the corporates are taking the profit from the society itself. Then what do we actually give back to the society? This is what creates a difference. There are a lot of real estate developments which are taking place across the globe, and with such rapid developments, there is a lot of at stake. The energy availability and the environmental sustainability. The real estate sector is one of the major contributors to global warming, which is again, the problem that across the globe we are facing. On an average, buildings consume 20% of the total energy available in a country, and this trend is increasing every passing day. With such a mounting concern, real estate organizations have, come up with certain ideas, concepts, basically how can we actually reduce and, more go into energy conservation, saving energy. Now, these are few of the practices which are being followed by real estate organizations and Signature Global basically to somehow save the energy conservation. There are building codes which are being applied by the architects so that the energy efficient structures are created. The usage of energy efficient appliances and fittings, like sir has already mentioned that there are CFLs and other LED appliances which consume less energy. Empaneling solar panels for common area lighting. Generally a group housing project, they are huge, they are into acres. So for the common area lightings, we generally go for solar appliances so that the energy is saved. There are better airflow and modeling to enhance. Rainwater harvesting is a technique where you conserve water. Using STP water. STP sewage treatment plant where you use it for the gardening and maintaining lawns of your project. So finally, using a process that is environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout a building life cycle. That is from sitting to design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation and demolition if required. So this green concept needs to be taken care from the starting to the end so that the particular concept is being implemented. So you need to include it at the process of product modification. Probably you need to do some product modification. You need to make certain changes in your production processes. You need to make some changes into your advertising and communication programs when you're communicating it to customers as well. The consumer, marketing, communication and corporates. This is the cycle that we see, but actually the green marketing works the other way around. We started from the corporates. What has been happening in the society that we have been using this green marketing word majorly just for the advantage of our brand so that we sell more. We have to keep the environmental in the first priority, then only probably the same. Think about our own convenience, like Sir said, that we think about purchasing, okay, saving petrol tomorrow, not today. Let's utilize it today. So somehow we have to be optimistic in the approach that if we start doing it today only, then probably we save it for the future. With this note, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to, I'll take just 5 minutes and wind up. I just want to know what made you come here. If you want to answer, kindly raise your hand and respond, okay? What made you come here? Yes. Yes, yeah. What made you come here?
For attending seminar,
Teacher said attending seminar, okay? What more? What more? Yes. Could you be a little loud enough?
Desire to learn more.
Desire to learn more. Okay. Yeah. Enhancing knowledge. Okay. What more? Yeah, quickly. How many of you want to make a lot of money? बहुत सोच रहे हैं. How many of you want to travel around the world? बिना पैसे के दुनिया घूम के आ जाएंगे. Okay? They don't want money, but they want to travel around the world. And how many of you want to be famous? Okay? Dear friends, these 3 things is possible only if you have 3 things with you. All these 3 things you will get it if you have 3 things with you. Number 1, purposefulness, being purposeful. Yeah? Number 2, in the purposefulness, obviously you need to have passion. Yeah? Number 2 is passion. Number 3, you have to be a keen learner. Learning never ends. Those who are keen learners, they are going to conquer the world. You must have heard from business schools and IITs and so on and so forth. There are people out there who get, a 22-year-old gets 1.5 crore as a salary. And there are many out there for months on end who will search for a job. What's the difference? The difference is very simple. The one at 21 or 22 is getting a 1.5 crore salary has these 3 things. Purpose, passion, and keenness to learn. He has energy. The energy naturally comes out because of these 3. When people see these 3 things, there is no way that they can deny. In fact, organizations will go ahead and give a checkbook. Say, you write your salary. This has happened to me, and this happens for everyone who is very compulsive. This is not about If you are not passionate about yourself, who the hell in the world will be passionate about you? यार खुद का कदर नहीं करते हैं, दुनिया में कौन आपकी कदर करेगा? ये बहुत अहम चीज है. You should not leave any opportunity. I'm sitting there, and I have made notes. And I write articles in newspaper, I come on television channels, because for me it is passion. That's why people call. There's nothing to do with marketing. It is all about you don't have to know anything about marketing. If you don't know how to market yourself, what is the essence of marketing? It is about you have got to have the content, the product has to be world class, and how you project it, how you communicate has to be world class. If you are the product, and if you are the communicator, and if this is the product, I'm really sorry to say, nobody is there going to take you. You have got to be a product of compelling product. And does not happen just like this. Yep. With those thoughts, I came here for green marketing. But I hope if some other time comes, I will come and talk about much more. This is about, I am passionate about entrepreneurship. For the last 20 years I have done this, and I mentor many, many people who desire to excel in life. That is my passion. 200 days in a year, I do nothing but entering some institution or some corporate to help people to realize their potential. That's what brought me here. When I was told repeatedly, please come, and I came here. And I find, I'm sorry to say, what you're demonstrating. Yep. Okay, some other time I will, if somebody is keen, if there are 15, 20 people keen who want to make a difference for yourself, for life, I'm more than happy to invest those, whatever, number of hours, it doesn't matter. Because my day starts at 4 o'clock and ends at night 12:30 or 1. And for all these things I do, not for somebody else, for myself. In the process, others will get benefit. Okay? Wishing you all the very best on your journey. Thank you very much.
See, Diksha, such nice selfies. Wow, they are really good. Yeah, they had to be good because they are from my new Nexus 6. It has 8 megapixel front camera for perfect selfies. That's really nice. Yeah, that is. And you know what? It also has 13 megapixel rear camera and 32 GB internal storage. You have taken a great choice. Thank you so much. Now let's start with the session as we are already running short of time. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Now we are here to present our next session, Stealth Marketing, Creating a Buzz. Stealth marketing, also known as buzz marketing, is any marketing strategy that advertises a product to people without them knowing that they are being marketed to. This time's Big Boss season is a good example for us to understand what stealth marketing is. In Big Boss season 8, Snapdeal sponsored an event called Snapdeal Customer of the Week contest, which helped Snapdeal place its product outside the context of advertising, but yet it could gain attention and pitch its product to its customers without they knowing it.
Not only Big Boss, a similar thing was done by Sony Ericsson in 2002 when they launched their first cell phone named T68i with a digital camera. In this, Sony Ericsson hired 60 actors in 10 different cities. These actors posed as tourists and asked strangers whether they would mind taking a picture. The twist was that instead of handing them a traditional camera, they asked them to use their camera phone. At this point in time, camera phones were a new product which most people were unfamiliar with. They talked about the device's features and taught the helpful passerbys how to use them. The aim of the campaign was to get as many people as possible to talk about their unique experience with a new and innovative camera phone. A similar was shown by Surbi in the starting of the session.
In this technical session, In this technical session of ours, we are going to discuss and explore opportunities and challenges of stealth marketing. To discuss this, we have with us today our eminent panelists from the academic and corporate world. Let us start with the introduction of a panelist with an industry expert, Mr. Dhruv Kashyap. Mr. Dhruv Kashyap is an overall business, marketing, strategy and sales and distribution industry expert with a proven 12-year track record at leading blue-chip organizations of corporate India, such as Hindustan Unilever Limited, Asian Paints, Marico, Bharti Airtel and Bacardi. He has spent the last few years of his career in developing new marketing strategies for the companies and thereby changing the way marketing is done today. Currently, he is designated as Director, MART, Academy Private Limited, Maple, India, and is simultaneously exploring entrepreneurial opportunities. I request Dr. Urvashi Sharma ma'am to present a floral bouquet to Mr. Dhruv. We welcome you, sir.
Moving on to our next speaker, Mr. Ashok Gupta. Mr. Ashok Gupta, Managing Director, APL Apollo Tubes, is a steel industry veteran with over 3 decades of experience. In his illustrious career, he has worked in senior management positions in Steel Authority of India, Bhushan Steel, ArcelorMittal Group, and Jindal. He is an MSc Physics and has done his postgraduate diploma in Business Administration from MDI Gurgaon. Mr. Ashok Gupta has been a think tank behind many of Apollo Tube's successful marketing campaigns. Sir, we are immensely pleased to have you here with us. May I now request Dr. Ashok sir to present a floral bouquet to Mr. Ashok. We welcome you, sir.
We also have with us Dr. N.H. Malik, who is working as an Associate Professor Marketing in the Department of Management, Jamia Hamdard University, New Delhi. He has done his MBA from AMU Aligarh and PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. His topic for PhD was Consumers' Expectations from Shopping Malls in NCR, Delhi. He has 28 years of experience, 14 years in corporate and 14 years in academics. In academics, he has been associated with IIMT Oxford Brookes, Gurgaon as Principal and Professor, Asia Pacific Institute of Management, New Delhi as Dean, Academics, and Professor Marketing. He has also worked in Institute for Integrated Learning in Management, IILM, in Lodi Road, Gurgaon, and Greater Noida campuses as a Dean and Associate Professor Marketing. His areas of interest include sales and distribution management, services marketing, customer relationship management, and retail management. He has also written 10 books and has many publications to his credit. He has also organized and participated in a number of international conferences, seminars, events, and panel discussions. He is also Vice President Communications of IACMP, International Advisory Council for the Marketing Profession, as honorary position of International Institute of Marketing Professions, Canada. I request Mr. Ashok sir to present the floral bouquet to Mr. Malik. We welcome you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. So thanks so much for having me over here. When I was explained about this summit and the subject, what I understood of it was that stealth marketing to be sort of understood in two parts. The first really being that by the very definition of the word stealth, consumers don't know it's being administered to them. And the second part was that it should be something that's shared around the whole area of sort of non-traditional, unconventional marketing. Right? All of us are sort of really tired of seeing advertising and hoardings and print ads, etc. So an example of sharing something with you which is slightly out of the box thinking, unconventional, non-traditional, and it stealths to the extent that it doesn't, so the consumer doesn't know that it's being administered to him or her at that point of time. I must confess that what I'm sharing with you is on conventional brands. So I don't know if all of you have heard of a brand called Lifebuoy. Yeah? The famous Tandurusti ki Raksha Karta Hai Lifebuoy. Yeah? So this is a campaign that I'm going to share with you in about 20 minutes that is in this realm of stealth marketing. And it's an example of how you really understood the consumer insight and how you try to do something different from a conventional marketing campaign to really participate in the consumer's life and sort of make your brand more sort of, affiliative to the consumer. It's not an example of IT and .com and all of that as of today, so it's a brick and mortar example. But I think what you learn from it is how unconventional and non-traditional marketing can even be used on 130-year-old traditional brands to try and sort of make it more affiliative with the consumer, right? So the brand in question is Lifebuoy, and the topic, as I said, is stealth marketing. And the example that I'm going to share with you is an example of an activity which Lifebuoy really piloted in India in places of worship, right? So places of worship are temples, gurdwaras, masjids, etc. And how once it was successfully tested and proven in India, it was taken abroad to a large number of these Islamic countries where they also have similar practices of washing their hands with soap and water before doing namaz 5 times a day. So it was an example of an activity that was sort of born and brought up in India, but sort of once scalable and successfully proven, was taken across the Unilever world globally. So this was done when I was heading marketing for Lifebuoy and Breeze in HUL way back 6-7 years ago, where I spent about 8 years of my career. Right? So I'm going to share a lot of Hindustan Unilever examples and talk with you. So I hope you would like it as much as I like sort of administering it for the next 20 minutes. And feel free to stop me and ask me anything at any time. So I think 3 parts to any marketing campaign, right? So all of you who are planning to make a career in marketing, the first step really is understanding the consumer and the consumer insight. The second step is really then designing an activity or a campaign that can sort of best build upon that, exploit that. And then the third step is really executing it and learning from it in terms of what worked, what didn't, and what would you do better next time, how would you upscale it if it worked really well, etc. Right? So just to give you an example of understanding the consumer, right? And what's the problem definition, which is really the first step of any marketing activity. The interesting thing was that the market where this was piloted is a market called Punjab, not very far from here. Incidentally, Punjab is the 3rd largest soaps market in the country. The largest being Maharashtra, the 2nd largest being Andhra Pradesh, and the 3rd largest for soaps in the country is Punjab, right? Lifebuoy had a peculiar problem. Lifebuoy is the market leader in soaps, it's the #1 brand in India. So it has a 20+% market share across a category which is about 7,000-8,000 crores in size and has more than 160 players. So in a 160 player fragmented category, a brand having 20% market share is a very large brand. But somehow in Punjab, it had a single-digit market share. Yeah? And it was actually a 6%, and actually Godrej #1, which was a 6% national share player, was almost 33% in Punjab. So you can see how skewed it was in the region of Punjab. The other thing about Punjab is that it automatically becomes stealth marketing because traditional media doesn't work very well in this market. So if you see the combination of the reach and frequency of television, radio, outdoors, hoardings, etc. put together, it's not even equal to the media delivery you'll get in a state like Maharashtra. So Punjab automatically forces you to think a little out of the box in terms of making your message reach the consumer. The other interesting thing was that more often than not, when you define your target group, it'll be females XYZ age group with kids with this kind of thinking, or males XYZ age group with or without kids with this kind of thinking. In the case of Lifebuoy, it also had a peculiar problem that more often than not, the consumer might be the housewife, but the buyer or the shopper might be the male. So in a way, you needed an activity that actually targeted both the male and the woman of the house. So both the homemaker and the chief wage earner in that sense. So just to set the context again, the largest brand nationally, almost an insignificant player in the 3rd largest market nationally, needed to reach that market in a market where conventional media doesn't work that well. So it needed to reach sort of the consumer, its brand message, and the brand experience needed to be delivered to the consumer in a out-of-the-box, different kind of a way, apart from TV, print, television, etc. Right? Moving on, here's the challenge. Your market of Punjab is predominantly what you call a beauty soap market. So brands like Lux, Godrej Number One, Nirma, Breeze, these are the kind of brands that are big in Punjab, which is largely what you call beauty brands, right? Whereas Lifebuoy is very solidly positioned on this platform called protection from germs, or the health platform. So the first task for any brand marketer is how to build the sort of credentials and the credibility of your brand proposition and make it cut through and different from what other brands were talking about there, which is largely, almost this commodified beauty play, right? There was a need to engage on ground. See, what happens is, A, your awareness is slightly lower, and B, the believability of your brand proposition and your proposition cutting through and differentiating your brand from the others is that much lesser. Now that typically does not get solved very well with a one-way interaction, which is television, print, but it needs a two-way interaction where you can actually engage with the consumer physically. Because behavior change does not happen with a one-way communication, it needs a two-way interaction. So it did need an on-ground solution and not an on-air solution. An option that spoke to both men and women, and like I explained to you, that Punjab is this unique place where more often than not, half the times the consumer is the woman and the shopper is the male. And an option that is cost effective and scalable. This activity was designed at the time where there weren't too many monies available for the brand, so how can it be done in a cost effective but yet scalable way, and a measurable way, more importantly. And most importantly, it built the brand awareness and the credibility and the differentiation that this stands for protection from germs, and protection from germs delivers health, and health is way beyond beauty, so it's a critical need, so you must use this product and must use it frequently. So what was the approach? So typically when you are faced with a peculiar problem in a peculiar geography, you really need to go and understand what is the market all about, what is the consumer all about. So I remember when I was heading marketing for this particular portfolio, I spent about a week with my rural agency in Punjab to really understand what is Punjabiyat. So what is the core Punjabi inside? So, what do Punjabis like doing? What is their behavior? What do they believe? What do they consume? What are their big festivals? What are their big beliefs, etc. So how can the brand meaningfully participate in an insight that exists rather than creating a new one? So really swim with the tide. And that was the thought behind it. So a week spent between me and the agency team really trying to understand the consumer in Punjab, the consumption patterns with respect to the category, which is toilet soaps. Why are they using what they're using currently? What would drive them to use our brands? And where is the place where we can meaningfully participate with them to meet the earlier brief of a two-way interaction and delivering the brand experience and the brand promise in a physically tangible way and not on air where it's only a one-way communication, right? So when we spent a lot of time in Punjab, typically you learn a few things, right? So you learn about how agrarian or how urbanized it is. You learn about, what are the beliefs and practices. You learn how they spend their time. So in some states or cities, you might have, different kinds of melas being their pastime. In some places, it might be, going to the cinema hall, etc. So what we really understood in Punjab and Haryana is that whether you are a Sikh gentleman or a lady, or you're a non-Sikh gentleman or a lady, the common denominator for all consumers is that they do go very, very frequently to the Gurudwara. So one common binding factor for Punjabis, non-Punjabis, Sikhs, non-Sikhs alike is actually frequent visiting to the Gurudwara. So what we realized is that in a market where conventional advertising does not work that well, the sort of massification will really happen when you address a sort of medium which binds everybody together, and that we found was the Gurudwara. So if you see, the fact that the frequency could vary, so the most devout of them might go once a day, and the less devout ones might go once a week or once a month. But the fact of the matter is that the largest congregation point in small town Punjab and Haryana ends up being the Gurudwara, right? So this is what a small town Gurudwara could look like, right? So it's very different from what the Golden Temple looks like. They're a lot smaller, they're a lot more unorganized. Now the interesting thing is that once you feel you've identified a medium in which you could do stealth marketing, how is it that the medium is a seamless fit between your brand messaging and the activity that happens in the place? See, because for example, you wouldn't be able to go and, for example, talk about washing clothes in a Gurdwara. It doesn't fit in, right? So what are the practices that a participant in that popular culture anyways partakes, and how can that brand be a part of it, is really what we needed to understand. And what we found as a seamless fit was that the common insight behind whether you go to a temple or a Gurdwara or a masjid is that you want to be clean and pure before you offer your prayers, right? So everybody, it's as it's called in marketing terms, you want to be clean and pure before communing with your maker, right? So that was a beautiful universal insight that if I'm going to go and offer prayers, I want to make sure that my hands are clean, my body is clean, and I'm germ free and I'm pure. So we took that sweet spot between what happens in the Gurdwara about the need for being clean and pure before communing with your maker, to the brand message fitment, which is all about health and hygienist, cleanliness and purity. And that's where the two fitted in. So if you look at the fact, and then we looked at where are the touch points within a Gurdwara where you can activate the brand. And again, as I said, why this is stealth marketing? Because this is not in-your-face marketing, but this is more sort of almost social responsibility marketing, where the consumer goes through the message without really knowing that he's being messaged, right? So the first point, so when you all go to a Gurdwara, you typically, will see a lot of water points, like they look something like this, right? Now, basically what happens in a Gurdwara is very simple. When you go there, you give your shoes to someone, they give you a token for safekeeping. Now that in a way messages to you that you've just taken off your shoes with your hands, so your hands are not that clean. So you probably need to clean your hands before you go and offer praise. Similarly, in a place of worship, you could have been, having the halwa that was offered to you, or you can go and sit for the langar. So both prior and post that, you need to wash your hands and be clean and pure. So there's a seamless fit between the place and the occasion and why the consumer is coming there, and the brand playing a seamless role without being in your face or very upfront or blatant about it. And that's why it's stealth marketing. Right? So as I explained to you, every Gurdwara has shoe racks, which in small town Punjab and Haryana looks something like this. So you have numbered shoe racks like this. All of you will give your shoes to a person who will take it and put it there and give you a token. So that token becomes the first moment of truth, or the first point of contact where you really talk about the fact that you've just touched your dirty shoes with your hands have become dirty. You need to clean your hands before you go and commune with your maker. Brought to you in public awareness, or brought to you in public interest by Lifebuoy. Basically you have to keep religious sentiments in mind. So the fact that you needed to take the granthis into account, you can't be overtly promoting a brand in the place of religion. The first step was at these shoe points, giving these shoe tokens, which basically when translated from Gurmukhi to English reads as, please wash your hands with soap after removing your shoes. And there were various messages in Punjabi. For example, a message that said, Rab tak pahunchne da rasta saral suche mant suche kamal. Right, so stuff which is integrated around the fact that, listen, the basic practice is that you give your shoes, you get a token, and you need to be reminded that because your hands have interacted with your shoes, there might be some amount of dirtiness. You need to clean it before you meet your maker. Brought to you in public interest by Lifebuoy. So that's the first point of contact or moment of truth, where these tokens were given to individuals that reminded them about what they needed to do, and that also sort of build brand salience into it, but in a very public service message way rather than an in-your-face, blatant, branded and overt way. So it was more covert in that sense. Then when I showed you what those sinks look like in a small town Gurdwara, that becomes the second moment of truth. So you have these kind of boards installed there, where basically again it talks about the fact that a simple message could be pure conscience and clean hands lead you to the God, like I explained to you earlier. So this becomes the second moment of truth. So this could be before you are taking the prasad, this could be before you are matha taking, this could be after you've consumed the langar. So this again talks about the need for cleanliness and purity in the house of God. And basically it almost subtly builds in the brand and promotes it. And more importantly, it leads to wet sampling. Right? More often than not, as a marketeer, you would always want to do awareness and trial together. because doing awareness and trials separately becomes very expensive and there is leakage, so consumers might slip out. But if you're doing awareness and trials, this can happen in a place like this where there is a need to wash your hands with soap and water. Lifebuoy becomes a soap and water. So the brand messaging is subtle and it associates with the occasion, and more importantly, it also leads to the product trial. So in this kind of an activity, you're building brand awareness, you're building the salience of its proposition in a very seamless way, which is purity and cleanliness and hygiene. And more importantly, you're sampling the product as a wet sampling, so the consumer is not only aware of your brand, but your proposition, but has also tried it before he's left the Gurdwara. So in that sense, it completes the marketing loop, and there is much less leakage. Whereas in a television ad, you can only tell about your brand and your proposition in a one-way communication. The other person might not listen, might switch off, might switch the remote, and there's no way you can build brand experience in a TV ad, right? So this is a lot about brand experience on ground. So these, if you can see, those are the boards with the messaging, with the branding. There's a soap there. When we rolled this out to the United Arab Emirates, South Africa, etc., we changed this from soaps to liquid hand wash, the Lifebuoy liquid hand wash, because those markets are 80-90% liquid hand wash. So what I'm trying to say is that when you've cracked a good model, it can be used across the countries of the world because the insight might be similar, which is really religion and the practices before and after it. And the use of the product, well, India is largely a soaps market, so we could use bars here, whereas most of the developed world is largely the liquid hand wash market. So you just substitute this tool with a liquid hand wash bottle there, so it becomes easily sort of interchangeable. Right? And these would be placed across. So as I mentioned, the first touch point was the racks where you place your shoes in a token. The second touch point was when you enter and you're reminded that you need to wash your hands with soap and water before entering the house of Lord. The third point would be before taking the prasad or the langar or after that. So it becomes multiple touch points within a closed area group. So I mean, it's a catchment, it's a sort of, it's an entrapped audience, right? It's all there. So these are multiple touch points within that. As I spoke about the fact for doing it multiple times, so it could be through the token, it could be through the boards. Add to that the fact that wet sampling and corporately sort of socially responsible, that because the Gurdwara allowed you to be a part of this activity, you took care of their need for products for the rest of the next few years or life or whatever, to also play a role in being a socially responsible corporate citizen. This is what some of the Akal Takht's people look like, and while we took permission from them to do the activity, while we gave them free samples to last them for some time in their place of worship. To give you a perspective on the scale and the reach of this activity, and remember this was only done in small town Punjab, which is less than 1 lakh and in most cases less than 50,000 population towns. To give you an idea of the scale, reach and the cost per contact of this activity, we did about 156 Gurdwaras across all the 138 towns of Punjab which are below the population of 1 lakh. We totally put up so many sync units and so many branded shoe token. If you take the average of these 138 towns where we did this activity at about 35,000 people per town, and as I explained to you, at least 70-80% of the population would probably be going to the Gurdwara, some of them once a week, some of them once a day, some of them once a month. So if you take a sort of very, very conservative example of once a week, you're effectively contacting 2.4 million people through this activity. So sometimes you wonder whether on-ground activities, out-of-the-box thought activities can be scalable. Well, if they're designed, executed, and administered in the right way, they can actually give you. So for example, most television campaigns don't reach 2.4 million people in Punjab. So an on-ground activity which is well thought through and thought around the insights of the activity and what's happening in the consumer space can actually even give you more reach than TV, print, outdoor put together. And that's what this activity did. As long as you do it in a focused and targeted market, for us it was small town or rural Punjab, not the large towns. Because as it goes higher in the pop strata, concentration becomes difficult because it becomes a lot more sort of spread out. I think there are 2-3 things that all of you as marketing people see in the sort of efficacy of a media campaign. The first is that what was the reach and the frequency, and the second is what was the cost per contact. Now remember, normally, your television ad would be measured on a RF, which is reach frequency. So let's say your TV ad reaches 40% of your target audience 6+ times. frequency. That is called a 46 plus campaign. Now, to give you a perspective in this, if people went to the Gurdwara about 4 times a month, and the activity was ongoing, and it was only a factor of when the paraphernalia broke away, because till such time as it was put up, it was always there, and there was no media cost to it. The opportunities he could to see would actually be 50 plus times per person. Right? No television campaign really gives you 50 plus frequency in that sense. So a campaign like this can actually break some of the conventional norms saying that on ground doesn't give reach and frequency. Actually, in a focused and targeted way, and as I said, if executed and administered in the right way, can give you a higher reach and frequency than conventional media. In terms of cost per contact, this was as low as 2 cents per person, $2 per person. That is much lower than television. Normally, when you do an on-ground activation, you tend to take 8-10 rupees cost per contact as a good benchmark to try and beat. Now here, your activity is almost being done in a few pesos, right? Because this total activity costs us just $12,000. That time it was 50 rupees to $1. So at 6 lakh rupees, you reach 2.4 million people, 50 plus times in the whole activity, right? So this was just meant to be an example to share with you that how unconventional activities or approaches or stealth marketing could actually be done in a subtle way and have a far greater reach and frequency than conventional media can ever reach at almost 100 the cost, right? We did a study, as Hindustan Lever would not leave anything without doing 100 studies after that to understand what was the efficacy of the activity. All of our key pointers showed that it's beat in all parameters that we had set out for, so whether it was brand recall, whether it was association of the brand with protection from germs or the activity, everything went up. And the most amazing part is that less than 6 months after the activity, the market share of the brand went up from 9% in Punjab to 25%. So it almost tripled in that short period once this activity was done. So again, very cheap, very scalable, targeting more number of people than all conventional media put together can target at a frequency which is 50 times that, and more importantly at a very measured way where it's changed the needle both in terms of the brand recall and parameters as well as the market share itself moving, which is clearly a function of more consumers buying your product. Something like this was, these are some of the awards that it won. So MAIMS is really one of the largest media awards in India. Goa Fest Abbeys is given for the best ideas. So Abbeys is more about innovation and MAIMS is more about execution. It won a whole host of other awards. It also won the best use of ambient media category at the APAC level, which is really all of Asia Pacific. And Unilever has an award once a year, which it does at its corporate headquarters in London, where it rewards the best activity in the globe across 210 countries. And the best activity across a region, which will typically be 30-40 countries. So this activity won the #1 award for the region, which is 40 countries of Asia, Africa, Middle East, and Turkey. And at the global level, which is across 210 countries globally, it was the #2 activity for that year. And apart from that, a whole host of other things. So this is really what I wanted to share with you in terms of this thing. I'll just share with you a video which I must give you a disclaimer that the video was meant for internal consumption. So it's not a professional video, it's actually a very, it's a very amateurish video. But that video will summarize what I was talking about, so don't make fun of the video. It's more for internal consumption. I thought I'll share it with you guys any which ways.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malik. Hello friends. क्या चाहिए? एक भाषण या कोई गपशप? गपशप मारते हैं. मेरे पास भाषण है भी नहीं. We'll spend some time, not much. आपका कोई कंसर्न हो, क्वेश्चन हो, आप पूछिए, मैं बात करूंगा. नहीं होगा तो फिर मैं पूछूंगा. Done? Before we start, can somebody help me with a picture of mine? कोई खींच सकता है मेरी फोटो? आता है? खींच के दिखाओ. किससे? उससे नहीं. 2-3 more people. ज़्यादा फोटो रहेंगे ना अच्छा रहेगा दिखाने के लिए. आप सब स्मेल करना है, ठीक है, ले आओ। ओके, somebody wants to take a photo? नहीं, लेना है? रख ले। One more photo, नहीं? किसी और को लेना? हाँ जी। आप में से कितने लोग सुबह टीवी का कॉमर्शियल देखते होंगे? सुबह शाम कभी देखते हैं? नहीं देखते? कट ऑफ कर देते हैं? रास्ते में आते हुए कोई कॉमर्शियल देखते हैं? अच्छा बताइए, कितने लोगों को याद है कोई कॉमर्शियल जिसमें कि शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा आया हो? किसी को याद है? हाँ ना, एक आदमी किसी को याद है शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा किसी सीरियल में आया, किसी एड में आया है? नहीं आया? आप रोज पेपर पढ़ते हैं, कोई आपको याद है आज का कोई एड पेपर का? TNT। आपने अभी 3 लोगों ने फोटो ली, आप बता सकते हैं कौन सा कैमरा है ये? हाँ, देखा कौन सा कैमरा था ये? स्टेल्थ मार्केटिंग। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टेल्थ मार्केटिंग। व्हाट इज स्टेल्थ मार्केटिंग? आधा पेपर लीक हो चुका है, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा डिस्क्राइब किया। ये बहुत क्राउडेड वर्ड है, इतनी एड्स आती हैं, इतने आपके पेपर में आती हैं, टीवी में आती हैं, किसी को फुर्सत नहीं है देखने की। ऐसे में क्या करा जाए? क्या तरीका है माल बेचने का? क्या, व्हाट शुड यू डू? हाउ कैन यू सेल योर प्रोडक्ट? आप कैसे कम्युनिकेट करोगे? आपने लाइव वर्क एग्जांपल देखा, बड़ा अच्छा एग्जांपल है। आपने बहुत राइटली सुना, किसी ने ट्राई किया नया मेथड, क्या फोटो लो और उसके कैमरे के बारे में बताया गया, सोनी एरिक्सन, जिंदगी भर याद रहता है। ये फोटो खुद ली गई है। इस चीज को यूज करते हुए लोगों ने कॉपी करना शुरू कर दिया। अच्छा आइडिया है, यूज करवाओ। क्या बता सकते हैं कि कोई और ऐसा चीज जिसमें लोग यूज कर सकते हो? लाइव आयो आपने देखा, लोगों ने यूज किया, कैमरा आपने देखा। बेसिकली इट मींस स्टेल्थ मार्केटिंग, मतलब चोरी की मार्केटिंग। जैसे हम लोग कभी कभी एग्जाम में पेपर करते हैं ना, थोड़ा थोड़ा ऐसे मार्केटिंग, बिना बताए, किसी को नहीं बताया कि आपको माल बेचा जा रहा है, आपको कुछ कहा जा रहा है, आपको कुछ कम्युनिकेट किया जा रहा है, किसी को नहीं बताना, चुपचाप बता दिया। इसका फायदा क्या है? क्यों करते हैं लोग ऐसा? बताइए, क्यों करेंगे ऐसा? मैंने कहा था आप पूछिए या मैं पूछूंगा? क्वेश्चन आप पूछिए तो मैं जवाब दूंगा। क्यों करते हैं? चलो मैं जवाब देता हूं। सारे के सारे मार्केटिंग के मेथड जो हैं बहुत एक्सपेंसिव हैं, लोग भूल जाते हैं। आपको याद है आपने 2 साल पहले क्या ऐड देखा था? भूल जाओ। 2 महीने पहले का याद नहीं है, 2 दिन पहले का याद नहीं है। लेकिन आपको याद होगा कि आपकी मम्मी क्या अच्छा खाना बनाती है। किसी को मम्मी का खाना पसंद है? हाँ, एक्सपीरियंशियल है, आपने तजुर्बा किया है। तो लोग क्या कोशिश करते हैं कि आपको बिना बताए तजुर्बा कर दें। अच्छा बताइए, कौन सा गाना ऐसा था जो बहुत फेमस हुआ लेकिन हाँ, कौन सा गाना था जो बहुत फेमस हुआ लेकिन कोई मार्केटिंग नहीं हुई थी, कोई ऐड नहीं हुई थी? गुड। ज्यादातर मार्केटिंग जो कह के नहीं होती है वो ज्यादा फेमस होती है, इसीलिए स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग की इंपॉर्टेंस रही है। चलिए आपसे मैं पूछता हूं, आपने स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग के बारे में इतना सुना, आपने लाइव बॉय भी देखा, डेफिनेशन पढ़ी, क्या मुझे बता सकते हैं 2 एग्जांपल स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग के जो आपको याद है? आपने देखा कि ये इस तरीके से मार्केटिंग की गई और किसी को नहीं मालूम चला कि मार्केटिंग हुई है। नहीं याद किसी को? कोई याद नहीं एग्जांपल? हाँ बोलो।
फ्री वाईफाई यूज करने के लिए।
फ्री वाईफाई यूज, करेक्ट। लेकिन उसकी मार्केटिंग किसकी हुई? किसने माल बेचा? चलिए आपको मैं गाना पूछता हूं, आप किसी गाने में फेविकॉल आया? कौन सा गाना था? सबको याद आ गया। क्या था वो? दैट वाज स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग। चुपचाप आपको माइंड में डाल दिया, सबको फेविकॉल याद आ गया। एक और एग्जांपल बताओ मुझे ऐसा जो गाने के अंदर डाला गया। झंडूबा, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। ये है स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग। आपको बताता हूं बहुत बढ़िया तरीके लोगों ने अपनाए इस मार्केटिंग करने को। एक कंपनी ने क्या किया, उनको बियर मार्केटिंग करनी थी, तो क्या करेंगे बियर मार्केटिंग करने के लिए? हाँ, शैंपेन। देखो फ्री पिलाओगे ना, सबको समझ आ जाएगा, लोग स्मार्ट होते हैं। उन्होंने मालूम क्या किया, उससे भी स्मार्ट आइडिया किया। एक कंपनी को बियर ऐड करना था, तो उन्होंने क्या किया, जितनी डिफरेंट डिफरेंट बार्स थी उसमें सुंदर सुंदर मॉडल डाल दी। और वो मॉडल का काम क्या था, जितने भी गेस्ट आते थे उनसे बातें करना, हाउ आर यू, क्या हाल है, थोड़ा सा पटा लेना। और उसके बाद में बियर ऑर्डर करना, और वही बियर ऑर्डर करेंगे। अब गेस्ट तो टेस्ट करेगा, पसंद आएगा, तो क्या हुआ, ये स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग। गुड। दिस इज ऑल डन चुपचाप। जो मैंने पहला एग्जांपल आपको बताया बियर वाला, उसको बोलते हैं पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस। कि आप लाइव बॉय इज पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस, कैमरा इज पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस। जो सेकंड मैंने बताया आपको, सॉन्ग इनपुट, गाने में डाल दिया। कोई और केस है गाने में डालने का? बोर्ड का ब्रांड नहीं है लेकिन। अच्छा चलिए, किसी ने मूवी में देखा, कोई मूवी में स्क्रीन पे कोई हो रहा है? बॉर्नवीटा, गुड। बहुत सारे केसेस हैं। आपको देखिए जितनी गाड़ियां होती है ना मूवीज के अंदर, उस पर ब्रांड नेम लिखा होता है ना, सारी स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग है। चुपचाप डाल देते हैं, आपको मालूम नहीं होगा। कई पाइपों के प्रोडक्ट्स आए हैं, कई हाउस बिल्डर के प्रोडक्ट्स आए हैं, चुपचाप वो एड में लिखे होते हैं। दैट ऑल इज स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग। करेक्ट, गुड। और बताओ, मैं आपको एक और बदमाशी लोगों ने करनी शुरू करी है। क्या आपने सुना है कभी ब्लॉग्स? कोई पढ़ता है, लिखता भी है कोई? वेरी गुड। ब्लॉग्स में बदमाशी शुरू हो गई है। लोग क्या करते हैं, ब्लॉग्स लिखते हैं ये कहते हुए ये कंपनी इतनी अच्छी है, इतनी बेकार है, कुछ भी लिखते हैं किसी के बारे में। वो सब पेड है, आपको मालूम चलता नहीं है। आप पढ़ते हैं कि अरे इसके बारे में अच्छा भी लिखेंगे, बुरा भी लिखेंगे, कहीं बीच में चुपचाप एक कंपनी की बड़ाई कर देंगे। तो दिस इज अनदर वे ऑफ स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग। ओके, क्वेश्चन थोड़े कम हो गए। कैन यू टेल मी वन कार मेकर जिसने स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग की हो? वेरी गुड। अच्छा ये बताओ, स्टिल्थ मार्केटिंग वीडियो में हो सकती है, वीडियो गेम्स में? एक वीडियो गेम आया था ग्रैंड टूरिज्म, उसमें टोयोटा ने अपनी गाड़ियां लगाई हैं जीपी। इस तरीके से बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं चुपचाप। अच्छा आप ये बताओ, स्टील मार्केटिंग करने से और बाकी मार्केटिंग में किसमें ज्यादा खर्चा होगा? करेक्ट, खर्चा बहुत कम होता है इसके अंदर और फायदा बहुत है। नाउ यू टेल मी सम 2-3 आइडिया दो मेरे को। अगर मेरे को गाने में डलवाना हो कोई प्रोडक्ट, तो आपने झंडू बाम देख लिया, आपने फेविकॉल देख लिया, कोई 1-2 और आइडिया बताओ जो गाने में आ सकते हो। मैगी, अच्छा गुड। और क्या आइडिया आ सकता है जो गाने में डाल सकते हैं लोग? हाँ, सो मेनी आइडिया। मूवी में आ सकते हैं। अच्छा चलिए, पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस। आपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस के 3 एग्जांपल देखे। कैमरा देखा, आपने लाइव बॉय देखा, आपने बियर देखा। गिव मी 4th एग्जांपल जो पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस से आप स्टील मार्केटिंग कर सकते हो। एक जोर से बोलो। पेन, गुड, मैं बहुत सारे लाया हूं। गुड। कार्ड्स का बिस्लरी, करेक्ट।